a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. You've got to let it go. You've got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the spirit of my life and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm holding for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light, and I'm free in the spirit. Yes, I'm holding for God. I release and I let go. Let the spirit of my life and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm holding for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light, and I'm free in the spirit. Yes, I'm holding for God. I let go. Let the spirit of my life and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm holding for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light, and I'm free in the spirit. Yes, I'm holding for God. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm holding for God.
So awesome. Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Felina Harrington. I'm one of the practitioners here. And I just want to welcome you to the Center of Spiritual Living here in Parker. We honor all paths to the divine, all paths to God, which makes many of us feel that come here that we've come home. And it certainly has for me. We provide, at CSL Parker, we provide spiritual tools for personal and community transformation. We fulfill our mission through this service by offering classes and workshops, and also by being of service to the town of Parker and to the larger community and the world. So let's just take a moment and share our Parker news. It will be very brief. Later today at 1:30, we are having a meditation kind of workshop. They call it a secret meditation and healing practices of ancient Chinese enlightened masters. And it's by Sufi Douglas Sutton. Is that correct, Joe? Sutton? Okay, thank you. And he has studied the lineage of 2,500 years of ancient masters to help increase your inner light. It's only a love offering. We still have seats available. And it's 1:30 in the library that's right off Main Street here on the corner. I have the address if you want it, but it's East Main Street. It's right on the corner. It's, like I said, it's 1:30. It might last about 2 hours. They are accepting love offering. And if you intend to go today and you haven't, because everyone else registered for it, but we still have some seats available. So if you're interested in going to the library today to hear this wonderful program on meditation, see Joe. Joe, please stand just so they know who you are, what you look like. So if you'd like to go, there's still time to go. But seating is limited. Is there anybody here for the first time? Okay, right here and right here. So did you get packets when you came in? Did you get a packet? Okay, Catherine is busy. Dr. Vern's going to get you a packet. So we have packets for you if you fill that out. And we send out a weekly newsletter on Wednesdays, and at least you'll know what's happening here. If you go away feeling, oh, that wasn't bad, I kind of like that place. So please fill out the pamphlet. And it also gives you some history about the church and what CSL, Centers for Spiritual Living, what their philosophy is. Okay? Now, let's take a moment and stand up and greet each other. You could do that by a hug, a handshake, and you don't have to do either. You can just say hi. I'm calling up Jeanette Benz, our practitioner, to give us a meditation, reading, and an invocation.
Morning, I was just too busy going around and hugging everyone. Our reading for today is from the Science of Mind text, and it's the 1926 edition. And if you don't already know, our topic for today is about intuition. And just this reading alone tells me the power of intuition. On Friday night, I got the hit to go to the Science of Mind text, and that's where I find my reading. And sure enough, opened up the text, and this is what I got. So, again, this is from the 1926 edition of the Science of Mind text. The quality in an animal which directs its action and tells it where to go find food and shelter we call instinct. It is really omniscience in the animal. The same quality, more highly developed, makes its appearance in man, and it's what we call intuition. Intuition is God in man, revealing to him the realities of being. And just as instinct guides the animal, so would intuition guide man if he would allow it to operate through him. Intuition, which is nothing less than God in man, silently awaits his recognition and cooperation. The Spirit is always there if we could but sense its presence. And my second reading is from the Science of Mind magazine, the May 2022 edition, The Daily Guides by Deborah Perdue. Tapping into our intuition requires listening and paying attention and not letting our natural intuition be drowned out by facts and rationalizations. When we listen to our quiet inner knowing, we are able to discern what is true for ourselves and are directed back to our true north. Gut feelings are trustworthy and can never steer us wrong, for it's the voice of Spirit within. Please join me in prayer. In this moment, right here and right now, we know that there is one presence and one power, and we call that God, the divine, the almighty, the all that is. We know that it's the energy that just surrounds us, it's around us, it envelops us, and more importantly, it is that energy, that essence that is within us. It's that divine power, that divine voice that resides within us. And just please take a moment to just Listen to that voice within you. That voice that is only love. That voice, that presence that loves you so dearly that it knows the divine within you. It recognizes the love within you. It knows that you are love because you are that manifestation of the divine. And so we just recognize that presence today and tap into it joyfully. Joyfully knowing that we are that love. And so I just know that our service today is good. It is blessed. I give thanks for all those that came together to bring this service together for all of us. There is that sense of gratitude, that deep gratitude for our musicians, for the volunteers, for our speaker, Art Morales, with the knowing that the divine speaks through him and as him, and that his message just fills our hearts. And so it's with great gratitude and love that I just let this go and I let this be. And I ground it by declaring, and so it is. Amen.
It's my pleasure to announce our guest speaker today, Art Morales. Art is a religious science practitioner, and he has been a spiritual seeker and teacher since his childhood. I have something in common with you. He served 39 years in the fire service, working his way up the ranks until he became the chief of Castle Rock Fire Department. He served in that capacity for 15 years until his retirement in 2018. Art is a strong proponent of personal spiritual development and autonomy. He believes everyone is an extension of the divine and are only limited by their own personal beliefs. His personal mission is to expand human consciousness and awareness in order to transform humanity into its highest and best potential. Art is a graduate of the Denver University Executive Leadership Program. His title today, and I think this is going to be a really fun ride, Living by Your Intuition. Please welcome Art.
It's always fun to have these opportunities to speak, and hopefully bring expansion to everybody. I chose this topic because I think it's vital to our survival right now. Hopefully we're not going to have a Oops. Good. It's vital to our survival. Let's look at the times that we've come through in the last 2 years, where decisions that we made, things that we had to do, oftentimes seemed out of our scope. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of fear, and yet here we are. And I would like to assume that that happened because you followed your intuition. But times are going to be a bit more difficult. And I can feel very confident in saying that. We're just getting warmed up. Because our planet is transforming. There's opening doors for higher consciousness and expansion. And in order to do that, that means that we have to let go of a lot of junk that we tenaciously hang on to, most of which exists in the past. We want things the way they used to be. And we keep reaching back for that. You ever drive a car and you're trying to, especially when you're a parent, and you're trying to control the kids in the back seat, and that back seat is your past? Can you drive effectively, or are you going to end up in the ditch? Okay, those are part of the things that when we look, our eyes are that intuition. The more adept we get at functioning by intuition, the more becomes open to us. When we talk about open to us, that means things like divine knowing. You see, there's this human construct out there that in order to learn something, we have to open this book, read this thing, memorize this thing, assume that we know this thing, test ourselves on this thing, and then hopefully put that in our knowledge basket. Do you ever wonder how a whale navigates the whole planet to its what do I want to say, their nesting ground? They do it through intuition, through that divine knowing what to eat. We think we have to have somebody outside of ourselves to teach us that, but really, that power is within you. And we're going to keep going back to that. So, when we think about the power of God within you, I want to talk about a person who I have the deepest admiration for, and that's Yeshua ben Joseph. Now, a lot of people might go, who's that guy? Yeshua ben Joseph. A lot of you might know him as Jesus, okay? But do you realize once upon a time when the ancient Christian proselytizers were going out, they went into Greece. And they're saying, there's this wonderful teacher that has taught us, that raises the dead, feeds the masses. And they're saying, well, what's his name? And they said, Yeshua ben Joseph. And they're like, we don't get it. Who's he like? And they couldn't fit this concept in. And so these proselytizers would say, he's like Zeus, because the Greeks worship Zeus. He's like Zeus. And so when another Greek would tell another Greek, they'd say, he's Zeus. He's Zeus. Jesus. So when people use the Jesus name, which Yeshua was never called by, people were saying, he's Zeus. Spanish. The Spanish word for Jesus is Jesus. So make that connection. What does that mean? That means as a society, we have been programmed by a mistaken pronunciation that happened way back. When somebody asked a question, who is he? Well, he's like Zeus. It's like, our term guy. We say, who's that? Oh, it's some guy. Okay? Do you know where the word guy comes from? Okay, came from this person named Guy Fawkes. And he tried to blow up the English establishment. And he almost did it, And so when they caught him, the English were very upset with him, and so they literally drew and quartered him and burned him, and so every year, that wasn't enough. They had to get together every year and re-execute Guy Fawkes. And so they would make an effigy of Guy Fawkes. So then foreigners would come into town and they'd say, "Who's the effigy?" And they'd say, "That's the guy." Literally, that's the guy. They were telling the truth. That's our Guy Fawkes. And so then the foreigner would leave and go, "Well, what did you see?" "Well, they burned some guy." And then translation goes on, and now we use the word guy. The reason I'm pointing that out is because inspiration, intuition, has a lot of baggage behind it, a lot of recreation and distortion. And my intention today is to help give us tools that we can use. I have a handyman business, and I have a van that's absolutely full of tools. Because I've learned the lesson that the degree of suffering you experience is directly proportional to the quality of your tools. Okay? You have lousy tools, you're going to have a lousy experience. And if you don't believe me, take a hike in this snow wearing cheap shoes. Just do that, as opposed to really good snow boots. Your experience would be completely different. So that's what we're trying to do here. So we communicate through the divine, or with the divine, through intuition. It's a communication system. A lot of times we'll say, "Well, wait a minute, I feel like I'm talking to myself when I'm following intuition." Okay, let's play that logic stream along. Who are you? The divine. So when you're listening to that voice emanating from yourself, you're an extension of the divine. Well, no, wait a minute. I'm looking for somebody outside myself. That is your cell memory. That's your programming. Programming for millennia that your path to back to God, because you've been removed because you were naughty, okay? You have to work your way back, and God's way over there. But don't worry, because that guy, go back to the guy again, that guy will help you because he's an intermediary. He'll show you the way, because you're too dumb to know. But don't worry, we got it figured out. All you got to do is give us your money. Okay? And we've been doing that over and over and over again with the conviction that I'm earning my way back to God. It's not how it works. As a matter of fact, if you look in the law of one, and I invite you to kind of investigate that. In the law of one, it talks about how the intention of the divine is to help us to be beings that are mostly of service to others. Mostly, 51% is the goal. Otherwise, we still have to do service to self. We still have to bathe ourselves and feed ourselves and take a spa day. That's okay. Service to self is good as long as we focus on the majority of our effort being service to others. So when I spend my life serving God so I can get to heaven, what is the majority of my effort in? Is it in service to self or service to others? It's a manifestation. Your whole life becomes a manifestation of service to self. You missed the mark. See? Kind of interesting when you start thinking about what's really going on. So when Yeshua comes and says, feed the poor, love those who despitefully use you, what he's trying to do is teach us to be service to others minded, service to others centered. When he says, when you give to the poor, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. Why would he say such a thing? Well, because if I do it so I can be seen of others like the Pharisees, service to self or service to others? Service to self. He says, no, but if you give it just because they need it. Service to others. Subtle, very subtle lines. But these are things that our intuition can help us see clearly. Your intuition shows you, each one of you is on a different independent, beautiful, exciting spiritual path. And that source, that connection of source, knows exactly what you need when you need it. And the people will show up, or the things will show up when you need it, but you have to follow the breadcrumbs. Because the thing that's most important is your autonomy, your free will. That's part of the agreement. You get to have your free will your whole life, which means that you have to make a choice. Can you understand how easy it was for humankind to say, well, you mean if I put all my faith in that person over there, I don't have to make any choices. They just tell me what to do. Then I'm not really accountable because I get to heaven because they tell me. And what a logic, circle, twist, pretzel is that? Nonetheless, it's very old. And it's very ingrained in the human consciousness. Yeshua came to free humankind from the limitations of that consciousness. And it was so terrifying to people, so terrifying to structures and establishments that he had to go. That person had to go. And then there's a lot of mysticism that gets wrapped around that, and a lot of mythic stories that get wrapped around the crucifixion and the resurrection. There's lots there. I personally believe that Yeshua resurrected because he wanted to show us that if everything's consciousness, even death, and did work there. The whole idea was to free the human mind from this little cage that had been so meticulously constructed over time, so that humankind stayed in their little box. So you buy what we want you to buy, you learn what you want to do. You're our little cash cow. We're going to enrich ourselves off of you, and then you're going to live and die and buy your stuff, and then you're going to go on your way. Wake up. The power of God is within you. The power of God is you. But you have to wake up to it. Some of you right now are saying, well, that applies to everybody else, but not me. Because I have all these mistakes, I have all these weaknesses, I have all these imperfections. Guess what? There's perfect imperfection. All this stuff is there. Now, divine knowing, intuition, isn't a hunch. We all get hunches, and a hunch is kind of like a dashboard light, okay? A hunch, you get a little dashboard light, but there's a problem, something's going on here. You know who have the best hunches, I think, on the planet are cops. You ever watch these guys? You know, I've been on crime scenes, and there's always, everybody buys the fake, and there's always one cop that goes, I don't know, I just don't feel right about this. And the absolutely preposterous impossible turned out to be what really happened, because that person followed their gut. Okay, so we have that as a fallback. Just don't feel about that. Feel good about it. But you actually have a communication, two-way communication, open to you anytime you desire it. But you have to learn how to use it. So, when we talk about intuition and the voice of intuition, prophets of old would say, you know, was the voice of God in the thunder? No, it wasn't there. Was the voice of God in the lightning? No, it wasn't there. Should be. Was the voice of God in the earthquake? No, it wasn't there either. Well, where was it? It was this little tiny, still small voice. Little, still, small voice. My lovely wife, Rhonda, she's here in the front row. We are spiritual seekers together. And we had all of our kids over for Christmas, and we had a house of 18 folks in there. Okay, so big things going on. And we have a car that has those fobs. It's a proximity fob, so it's like really expensive, and the car works with it, doesn't work at all without it. And so we were lending the car to the kids and transferring and all blah, blah, blah. Well, in all the confusion, where's the fob? Well, we can't find it. And we're looking everywhere. Obviously, we're asking everybody to look everywhere. And Rhonda, bless her heart, is tearing the house apart, looking in every pocket, in every seam, everywhere. We just can't find the file. So she's driving to work in her car, and it's quiet. She's thinking about, I wonder where this is. And she was surprised at the tininess of this little tiny, tiny voice. Surprised her because she communicates spiritually, and we have this expectation of what it's going to sound like. And this little tiny, tiny voice says, check your inside pocket. When we get inspiration, we go into the past. Right away, we check the facts. Wait a minute, I've already looked in all my pockets. I've looked in every pocket 10 times. Okay, look in the pocket again. I've already looked in the pocket. Fine. I'll look in the pocket. The file. That simple. Rhonda will swear to you, I have checked that pocket. I've checked every there it is. Now, whether it was manifested there, don't know. And let me tell you right now, as we're talking about intuition, manifestation is another thing that is wild, crazy right now. So I encourage all of you, curb your thoughts, control your thoughts. Because what you think will be that fast now. Don't believe it? Handyman art. Came back from a job and I'm going, man, you know, I wish I had a 3-pound sledgehammer with a 24-inch, well, with a 16-inch handle. That would have made that job so much easier. Go to the store, come back. There's a 3-pound sledgehammer with a 16-inch handle laying in the street in front of my house. True, Rhonda?
True story.
And go reach down, pick it up, lay in the road. Wow, it would really be nice to get, we have a little pond. I need to get, the son ate up our little pond scooper net. It'd be nice to have another one. Driving down the road, an hour later, there's one laying in the middle of the road. Little van over, went over, picked it up. Using it to this day. That's how powerful manifestation is, and that's anchored in your thought. So, the first thing to do is control thought. And so for that, we're going to have some game time now. Okay, so everybody, almost everybody, gets to play. Now I want a main character, somebody who is pretty comfortable listening to divine. You're speaking to me. I forgot your name. Right? Yeah.
Me? Catherine. Oh,
No. Come on up.
Me?
You. Yep.
Lord.
Oh boy, you're in trouble. Okay. So you don't get to do it. You're going to stand right here.
Okay.
Right there. And she is going to be trying to communicate with the divine through intuition. Now, we exist in the moment in time, the present. And I say over and over again, in the present, you are gods. And in the past, you are absolutely impotent. Future, nothing. Till you create it right now. Right now. This is where all your power is, and that's where she is. Right now. She's going to communicate with divine. Now I need more actors. So I need, now Rhonda, my lovely wife, is going to be the voice of the divine. So Rhonda can only whisper. Okay, come on up, Rhonda. You're going to be right here behind her. Now I need somebody to be the past. Who's going to be the past? You're going to be the past. Yep, come on up. I'm just going to start handing out things. So, the past always gets to talk. But you have to talk in a normal tone. You're going to be talking in her ear, okay? So I need more actors. So I'm just going to start handing things out. You're going to be regret. You're going to be cell memory. You're going to be mistakes. You're going to be limitation. These are all the kids of the past. Your judgment. Go on up there. Go and stand right over there next to the past. Fear. Self-doubt. And resentment. Okay, go on up there. Unless you're terrified to be up there. No, okay? So, all these kids of the past are constantly talking to us. Okay? Now, there's an antidote. And, well, let me find one person. One person who absolutely does not want to talk. Who's here that does not want to talk, doesn't want to say a word? Anybody here not want to say a word? You don't want to say a word. I saw you. Okay. You're the future. Future silent. But you get to stand way over there by the flag. Now, we have some fun. We're going to go into the present. The present. So, the present. Clyde, you want to be the present? No, you want to kind of wait there? Dorothy? Okay, well then you're going to be the present with me. Stand up there on this side. I'm just going to go your oneness, your compassion. Go on up there. Power. Choice. Acceptance. Love. Love. You got it. You were powerful. Powerful person. Connection. And forgiveness. Go on up there. Now, this is a visual display. I color-coded it so we can get it. Now we get to play. Now, the way we play this game is in order for you to receive inspiration, you got to hear the message from Spirit. I'm going to whisper a message to Ron.
Thank you, James.
Okay, Ron, the Spirit has a message. All right, now, all y'all, you're going to start talking in normal voice to her. Okay? The past. You're bringing up, man, don't you feel bad? Don't you regret that you didn't make that investment? We've always been stupid people. You can't do anything. Remember the mistake you had trouble even getting here. Remember those mistakes that you made? What was it? Judgment. You're not good enough. They're not good enough. Fear. Don't even try it. Now, fear has one of the loudest voices, so you got to be loud.
I can do that.
You can do it. Be loud. You got to be. Don't even try it. Okay. Self-doubt. You're not capable. Okay. Resentment. No, you would be present now if it wasn't for all those people that, and don't you just resent them? And resentment is they're anchored in somebody offending us, and we're withholding forgiveness from them. Okay? So, all of you got to talk. All right? Now, as long as you are pointing at them, that's called deliberate consciousness and choice. You, when she points at you, can go over there and silence one of those voices. Love gets to silence 3 of them. And when they touch you, you got to stay quiet for the count of 30. Okay? And then you go back. You guys all go back into the present. That only works as long as you're pointing at them, and you can't just machine gun point. Okay? You got to consciously choose which one. One at a time. But the minute you go and look at the future, and this is where I want you to kind of move around, because the future is kind of nebulous. It's not anchored in anything. But if you guys catch her looking at the future, all y'all got to go back over here and let go. And they can start talking again. So remember, you can pick any person over in the yellow. You touch them. When she points to you, you go over there and touch them. They start talking, stop talking. Okay? This is a normal day in all of us. All right? These are all the voices clamoring in your head for your time. That's why we struggle with inspiration. Because this thing's going on. And the only time we can really hear is when it's quiet. And those things that we practice silence those things. Being in the present. So, we're going to warm up here. Limber up past. You guys ready to go? Okay.
Ready?
All right, there we go. Y'all start talking. Repeat your message. You say whatever you want, but it's your voices and your yells. Okay? All right, start talking.
Don't even try it. It's too scary. You fall. You hurt. You turn everybody around. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's horrible.
Louder, Taz. You got to stand more over this side. There we go. Now remember, you point to her. You can just point to who you want.
Don't do it. It's too scary.
Louder, Taz.
You're gonna get scared. You can't do that. It's too scary. It's too dangerous. You don't have insurance for that.
You don't know anything. You know nothing.
Come on, don't give up. There's a pass never shut up. Come on, you keep going. Oh, did you touch it? Okay, good.
I'm just so tired of it.
Okay, louder, the ones that haven't been touched.
Yeah, I buy and then
Point over here, yell at her, yell over here.
I just don't know where I should be.
angry that I
I just don't know what I should be doing. I just not.
Oh no, it's too scary. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Louder, dear. Dear, you get to leave your spot. Go up there and yell right in her ear.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's scary. You're gonna hurt people. You're gonna hurt somebody. Don't do it. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt.
Okay, Spirit, go ahead and give your message. Are you guys in your silent zones? If you're not, I expect some noise. Oh, she's doing very good.
Believe it.
Okay, go ahead and try to give your message. As soon as you're timed out, I want some noise. Okay? All right.
I just don't know about that. I think we can order people around.
Here we go again. Oh my God. Oh no. It's scary.
When we're talking about
You're gonna get hurt.
I don't.
No, Jackson. I'm scared. I'm scared. Don't do it.
Well, I don't
It's
know.
too scary. It's too scary. Don't do it.
Yeah, right.
Rhonda, deliver your message.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Come on, louder.
I just don't know how much longer I can be doing this.
Try to give your message.
Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know. Oh, I mean,
Whisper, whisper. Okay, yeah, we all want to hear the message, so everybody just quiets down. Past never quiets down. Now, y'all can stand there for a bit, or you can take your seats, because I want to have some observations on what clicked with you with this. Thank you. We can collect these. What's it like for you? Thank you. What are some thoughts that you have in looking at these?
chaos.
Okay, chaos. Yeah. All right. The past is always with us. I apologize. You're gonna drive people nuts with video.
That's okay.
I can't hold still. But the past is always there. And the cure to the past is being in the present. Being in the present. Now, There's this joke that says, you want to know how much your wife loves you, take her and lock her in your trunk for 3 hours with your dog. And then, when you open the trunk 3 hours later, see which one's happy to see you. Now, that might sound funny, but I think it makes a good point. And the point is this: dogs live in the present. You open the trunk, and the dog says, "Master!" Now, we don't expect our wives to say master, ever, okay? But the dog is in the present going, trunk open, I'm out. The spouse, let's make it gender unspecific, is going, how could you? We made a vow to always take care of each other, and you were always going to be nice to me, and this is not that. And all of a sudden we're in the past, and we are angry. But I invite you to think of that silly metaphor in living in the present. Living in the present is a skill set, right? You are programmed to live in the past. Or you're programmed to live in the future that you can't describe. We saw our future nebulous wandering around. We don't really know. We have an idea of it. There's always that little joke, you want to make God laugh, tell him your life plan. Okay? Because what we thought we were going to do and what happened are two different things. And the road is magical and wonderful and amazing on all of us being right here, right now. Think of all it took to have that happen. So, when we go back to being in the present, that means at least spend some time in it, and that's habit. So we all have been exposed to meditation. Okay, you gotta quiet the mind, meditation, we gotta quiet the mind. And we're always doing that. I invite you to shift your idea of meditation to being in the present, being in that moment, listening to yourself breathe, watching yourself. The goal is to actually observe yourself, observing yourself. As odd as that might sound, that's in the present. Right there, nothing else happening. When you become comfortable with that idea for the moments that you're sitting in meditation, then you want to take that and try taking it outside. And you say, you know what? For the next 10 minutes, I'm going to walk in the present. I'm not going to think about what I got to do, future, or what happened yesterday, past, right here. And that is something that I promise you is attainable. The power of God is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. That is so doggone true. Nothing that you need comes from outside of you. It is within you. You are an endless stream of good and love and power. And believe me, I got better things to do with my time than stand up here and tell you a lie. I came up here, when I prepare a talk, I think about it and the theme, and I'm saying, you know what? If they put that on my tombstone, be happy. Okay, if they tattooed it on my forehead, good, that's the message. Everywhere I go, oh, power of God's within me, written on your forehead. Yeah, isn't that cool? That is how important that is, because when you get that, you will wake up and you will claim your divine heritage. And it's there waiting for you. It's only separated from you by belief, by this stuff here that we tenaciously hang on to. Now, how does this work? Let me tell you a story of Lazarus. There's some interesting things about the story of Lazarus. Lazarus was a very close friend of Yeshua. And Lazarus got sick and died. Now, nobody had cell phones in Yeshua's time. So Yeshua is walking with his disciples, and he stops. And he turns to his disciples and he says, Lazarus is dead. Think about that. We got to go see him. Yeshua is in the moment. He's not thinking about, okay, here's what we got to do, and we're having a board meeting, and we're planning on taking over the world. They're walking and expanding. But the divine connectedness says Lazarus is dead. And so they proceed to the town where Lazarus is. They don't just get there. Okay, it takes a little while to get there. And so they get there, and Mary, Lazarus' mother, comes out and said, only if you had been here, Lazarus would have lived. And sadly, he's dead. And Yeshua expresses the shortest verse of Scripture. Does anybody know what that is? Shortest verse of Scripture? Jesus wept. Now, scholars have wondered, I wonder why he cried. He's crying out loud. He's Yeshua ben Joseph. He's Zeus. You know, well, why is he upset? Because Yeshua in the moment didn't know what was going to happen with Lazarus. He's there in the moment. I'm grieving. Lazarus is dead. Spirit whispers in his ear, guess what? You get to raise him from the dead. Because humankind is limited with their fear of death. And so Yeshua wept because this opportunity is there. He's not weeping out of loss. He's weeping for joy. He gets to have his friend Lazarus back. And so he turns to Mary and says, take me to him. And Mary says, oh, you don't go there. He already stinks. He's been dead. He stinks. This guy is dead. Now think about that. Why did that happen? Why did the divine orchestrate that? Because humankind, thousands of years later, will be saying, he wasn't really dead. He was, they planted suspended animation. They're like, no, this dude is dead. He's right. Go up there. And Yeshua was like, he probably grinned. Okay, well, humor me. Let's go on up there. They roll away the stone. Divine power that's in all of you. He says, Lazarus, come forth. Pretty soon, they hear rumbling or some shuffling coming out of the tomb. Lazarus just didn't appear. He's trying to walk, and he's all tied up because they've mummified him. They already got him ready for death. And so he's doing this, and Yeshua says, unbind him and give him something to eat because his digestive system's been dead. What an amazing account that we all miss. But the whole thing is, it was triggered by complete and absolute confidence in intuition. And that is the difference between Yeshua and many of us, is we say, well, that's him, not me. But Yeshua also said something very profound. He said, because everybody's like, oh, you're the guy. First thing he says, greater things than this you shall do. Wasn't just talking to the disciples. It's talking to all of us. But it's anchored in your intuition. The kingdom of heaven is within you. You have the keys here and here. I invite you, as you meditate, to start working on this space. That's that space between your heart and your brain where they meet. So you're using both of them. That's where it's real easy to hang out in the present. Walk in the present all the time. The most mundane activities that you do, let Spirit guide you. Invite the divine in. When I go do handyman jobs, I'm like, Okay, yeah, and I have this conversation all the time. Well, I could do this the hard way, which is usually my way, or I could do it the easy way, which is usually our way. So what do you think the best thing to do? You know, I'm standing there looking at my tools and, you know, Spirit says, well, you know, you might want to bring that. Okay, this is a plumbing job. I don't need that. You're cute. You're already starting to argue with me. Okay, fine. I'll bring that. Yeah, you might want to bring this and that. Take a choice, go in there, and all of a sudden, because I had that right there, I was able to get the job done in a fraction of time with a lot less suffering. It's a magical world we live in. Really. Things are manifesting all the time. So, you better start using your intuition to help you and to guide you in the best things, the best possible outcomes for you. We're going to have a nice little exercise here. You've all listened to me say the power of God is within you. I've said it a bunch of times. Part of the reason is I'm trying to break through these walls that we put up, where we say, well, I'm the exception to the rule. I'm the only one on the whole universe that doesn't apply to. But if you think about that, that's kind of narcissistic. You know, because you're saying, well, wait a minute, no, I'm different, I'm special. I'm spiritually handicapped. No, we don't want to do that. So, we're going to repeat 3 times out loud. I want y'all to stand up. Let's stand up together. And I mean it. The first time we all do this, it goes out and out. So I want to hear this. The power of God is within me. 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 I claim it right here, right now. I claim it right here, right now. And so it is. And so it is. Feel that? Feel that energy? Yeah. Holy smokes. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with me today. Walk your path with honor. Thank you.
Okay, now it's time for our offering. So know that everything that is willingly given, which is what Art is talking about, whether it's time, talent, or offerings, comes back to you many, many times, over and over. And this divine source is called prosperity. So let's hold your gift in your hand, if you would, and that doesn't matter if you've given electronically or if you're going to give something today, that's perfectly okay. Hold your gift in your hand and place over your heart, and please repeat after me. I give this gift for you. I give this gift for you. I give this gift for me. I give this gift for me. knowing that as I give, so shall I receive. And so it is.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Oh, God gives me everything I need.
This has been a great service. Thank you so much, Art. I want to tell you that I had the same manifestation happen to me that you had with your fob. It was my passport when I was in Scandinavia. It was lost. And I did everything. I went down, tried to get a new passport. Of course, the embassies closed. They all went home. It's a Friday. So, on and on and on, just every little pitfall. And then I said, can we call that cab guy back one more time? We'd already talked to him twice. He'd searched the cab. He found it. He said he searched the cab inside and out twice. And we said, let's just give it one more try. Amazing, amazing. So I feel the manifestation happening in my own life. It's wonderful. So thank you, everyone, for coming today. It was a super, super service. And I just loved reenacting that, the past and the present. And oh, that was so cool. That was very nice. I'm so grateful. So very grateful to allow this moment just to fill my heart and fill my soul. My whole body is just, I don't know, it just feels so alive, and I'm most grateful. And I know that when you all leave here today, you're going to have a wonderful, wonderful week. I know this as sure as I'm saying it. Thank you all again for coming. Bless you all. And so it is.